All right. Good morning, everyone. Again, I think most of participants are in the room this morning, so welcome again. A webinar, a little bit a sneak peek on our CRM days later later next month, our online CRM days. Just showing a few new items that are in new releases of Efficy. So you already have a little sneak peek on what's to come. Together today with me is Fabrice. Fabrice, good morning.
Good morning, Arno.
Welcome again for this webinar. So let's dive into the program of today.
Yes.
Today on the program, we have a bit, as always, just showing you where you can find the help tools very quickly. Then we dive into the action flow, which is quite new, and Fabrice will tell you a lot more about this. The DocuTool as well. We had the developer who initiated this was very happy that this was presented during the webinar, so happy faces internally as well.
Yeah.
And then of course how to send those documents, and finishing off with the Q&A. So let's get started. Efficy online help. So what do we have? As always, you can find it in your Efficy when you go to your options and you drop down online help, and you get straight away to the help center. Maybe interesting to show is that there's a new thing, and I put the link in there. You will get it also when you get the link to the recording, but you have a new page on the Efficy extranet manual. So how to use the Efficy extranet, because we found out that not every customer is aware of what the extranet could do for you. For instance, signing up for any newsletter or events updates. So have a look at that as well, and then you'll find a lot of information that you can do yourself with Efficy. So that being said, I think we're all here for some new features within Efficy. And as always, I give the floor to Fabrice to present you these new tools.
Yeah,
Fabrice,
thanks.
stage is yours.
Thanks. Are you hearing me great?
Yes, we do.
Yes, perfect. So yeah, let's jump and dive in directly within the action flow. So the action flow is a kind of new small module that is delivered by Efficy, and the idea is that you don't have to wait for the latest version in order to use this tool. So this tool is not set up by default, but you can ask to your sales rep to see with the project team in order to activate it. So yeah, we have a little bit of work just to deliver you the tool, but the tool has the purpose of, in fact, letting you create your action flows or your workflows directly within a graphical interface, which is quite nice. So as you can see on the screen here, we designed a small action flow in order to, let's say, prepare a cooking for friends. So as you can see, on the starting of this flow, we decided to create a few tasks that should be done before having the ability to jump into another step, in fact, of this workflow. And then you can create your sub-steps containing also different tasks that should be realized in order to go deeper and deeper in the process. So it's quite simple to create those steps and those actions within the interface. You can directly create a specific action, and an action would be defined within this interface. So within this menu, you have, of course, what will be the subject of the action. Maybe that you want to apply a certain delay in between the precedent, so the precedent action and the actions that you are creating now. So you can place some D-Day. You can also place a deadline. You can define the time that you are estimating in order to realize this action. Of course, qualified more than the nature as usual within actions. But what is quite important is that you have the ability to tell the workflow to update some fields when the action is created or when the action has been done. So that's quite important here. As you can see at the bottom of the screen, we are saying that at the end of this action, when it's done, then the system should update the status of the opportunity which is related to the action to the value 5, which is here in this case order. So the system is just applying an update on the status at the end of this action. So quite nice. You can do that not only on opportunities, but you can do that on projects, for example, if you want to update values on opportunities and project. As you can see, you can place multiple lines. So here there is only one line containing one opportunity that should be updated, but you can apply different updates that should be applied at the end or when the task is created. So super useful in order to create those actions. But how to start an action flow when you start a new action? As you can see, I have a new opportunity here related to this action. And then if I want to apply an action flow, I really just have to select the kind of action flow that will appear within the action. And so when you select this element, then it will start generation of all the flow. And so step by step, tasks will be created depending on are they done or not, of course, within the process. So that's super useful. We are adding a few elements just to control the action flow. So what kind of action flow and what will be the action step. So here it's the beginning of this flow. So what does it look like when you start a new action flow? I just here take a view on actions that are related to this project, which is called Invited Friends for Dinner. And as you can see, the system has generated the first few elements that should be first realized before jumping into the next step. And as you can see, the first action is already done. And so I have to actually do different steps, different actions in order to jump into the next step. So yeah, that's basically how it works. So quite nice. And yeah, at the end, when you have to use, as you can see here, the status of this opportunity has just switched from 1 to 2, because within the action flow, at one step, you decided to update the status, making it just jumping from one status to another one. So yeah, in terms of usage, when you are playing with your Efficy, what did it just bring you? It brings you the fact that you can create automatically tasks. Don't forget some steps, but also update automatically fields and value on opportunities, project, etc. So super useful. You can play with the tool by yourself. You can create your action flow by yourself. The only thing you need is, of course, to request the project team to deliver you the tool, and we have to allow you, of course, to do that on your production database. But that's quite simple. If you want, you can also activate it on the test environment in order to create your action flows on the test environment, test it, and then after that choose to migrate them directly or copy them directly within the production database. So super useful. That's it for the action flow. Let's jump into what's called DocuTool. DocuTool is another tool that is delivered with version 11.3 and plus, so for the next version 2. What does it do? What does this tool do? It's quite a great tool because generally when you are creating an offer, for example, or maybe a new contract, you maybe have to, first of all, have a draft of a document that you can update. Let's say that you are working on a proposal, and then you are working on your proposal and you want to generate your PDF. But attached to the PDF, sometimes you have to place some appendixes. And so sometimes you don't want to have a multiple lot of different documents that are just shared with your prospect or with your customer, but you want to merge them directly within one single document. And that's the purpose of this new tool. In fact, you can select the different documents you want to merge directly. So you want to concatenate them into a new global PDF. You have another option, which is also if you want to merge all the documents, you can choose to delete the source file just after the work's done. So you can directly select the 4 documents that you want to merge, and then after that, only having the merged document, the finalized merged document, and delete the source document. So how to do that? But it's quite simple. There is a new menu within your menu button dedicated to documents. And when you decided to activate this new DocuTool, then a few options are just appearing on top of the generic options. So you can choose to concatenate PDF files, but also you can generate PDF with product price that are contained within this document. So yeah, the right options to use in order to merge those documents is concatenate PDF files. So you can simply select it and that's done. You've just created it. So yeah, for those 2 small tools, it's the same process. You really have to take contact with your sales rep just in order to request on the project team to activate those 2 tools for you, giving you access to those new functionalities. But okay, when you've generated your PDF, how to send it to your prospect or customer? You have different ways to do that. The first way is the basic way, the way you maybe have already play with Outlook or your favorite mailing tool. Basically, the idea is that when you are selecting a document within Efficy, you can choose to, for example, send it by mail, send it via an instant mail, but also you have a third option, which is I want to create a shared link. So what is the share link? Sharing is in fact the ability to create a link, which is a public link with an expiration date that you can apply on it. So if, for example, your proposal is has a validity date until the end of the month, then you can just choose to let it on the public link available until the end of the month. And so when you created this new public link, the public link will appear and you can copy it or directly send it by email. And people will receive a link so that they can just click on the link and open the document via a public web page. So we'll show you how to handle that directly within Efficy. So I'm leaving the PowerPoint for a few seconds. And I'm just taking this document, which is actually the PowerPoint that we are using today in order to present the webinar. Let's imagine that I want to first generate the PDF related to this PowerPoint. So I'm requesting the system to generate the final PDF in order to send it to you. Boom, the PDF is just there. And if I want to share the PDF with an external link, I can simply click on the menu, the 3 dots, which is opening the menu, select share, and then you can share it via a public link. So I'm choosing that this link will be available in the end of the month, and I'm generating the new, oh yeah, I have to first save it, of course, because I've created this new PDF. So, okay, I'll change that. So I'm just creating the public link, and I'm creating this link. So as you can see, this link is a specific link is generated randomly with a specific key so that nobody can access it except you as a receiver of the email I will send you. And so when people are receiving the email, they could directly click, in fact, on this link. And what will appear, let's take another view. let's take another frame. Oops, where it is. Okay, so I'm taking the link and I'm clicking on the link, and the document has directly been downloaded. So if I'm seeing what is appearing internally, you can just see that the system is tracing if somebody has downloaded the document for you. So internally, I will go back into my internal production of Efficy, and as you can see, I'll have received a new notification saying that's up. Not yet. Not yet. Okay. Normally you should have to wait a few seconds, but after a few seconds or minutes, you will receive a notification saying that your prospect or your customer has just downloaded the document via the shared link that you've sent to them. So it's another way also to know, see, monitor if you have a download on one or multiple files that you have shared with your external contact. So that's it. You have those opportunities and those functionality directly from the document bar. So it's really just there since the version 11.2. So you have access to the fact that you want to create a revision, but also if you want to share elements, you have this ability either by selecting only one document, or if you want to share the global document, so multiple here documents, you can choose to share everything in one time and just create your public link in order to send it to your external contacts. That's it for my part, Arno.
Yes,
I will
very.
just go back to the PowerPoint.
Yes, well, we don't have a lot left in this webinar, so it was very clear, I think, very straightforward, as we are used to from you, Fabrice. And it's, as I said in the beginning of the webinar, it's also a little sneak peek of what to come in the new releases, which have been, correct me if I'm wrong, and they're already available, the new releases. There have been
no, not yet. And but there is an event also that you're organizing at the marketing team. No?
Yes.
Presenting. So maybe you can just introduce it.
Yeah, we'll come to that after the Q&A
Okay.
real shortly. If there are any questions, of course, please just raise your hand, unmute yourself, or write it down in the chat, and we'll be happy to answer your questions.
It's quite simple. There are only two small steps to activate, and in order to let you play with those new functionalities. So I don't think that should be a lot of questions. What I can maybe just add is that you have a question.
Just one question.
Yeah.
For the action flow.
Yes.
I didn't hear the word assignee. Can you assign different steps to different people?
Yes, you can assign different steps to different people. You can choose to assign them to specific users or to groups.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. And I see Thierry has also raised his hand. Thierry, if you want, you can unmute yourself and ask your question.
Yes. Thank you. I was wondering if it's possible to, in the action flows, to create the same step as the one that has been performed. I'll explain myself by giving an example.
Yeah, give me an example.
We have merchandisers that go on the road and they have to visit the same clients every 3 to 4 weeks. We would not prefer to create a whole bunch of tasks that return after in 3 or 4 weeks. But the idea was that when they complete the task, that's by means of an action flow. That's each time
The system
is reproducing the same task in 3 to 4 weeks.
Okay. So yes, but normally you should have something which is declaring the fact that you are recreating a new action flow. So we can do that by maybe add a workflow which is not managed by the action flow, saying, okay, at the end of an action flow, then recreated it related to each customer, so that it will be automated. And on your side, you have the end in order to manage what should be the task that will be repeated every 3 weeks or 4 weeks. So yeah, definitively we can do it, but we will have to activate a kind of script which is generating the action flow every 3 weeks, for example, on our side. But it will be a so yeah, it could be really used in your case.
Okay, thank you.
Right.
My pleasure.
Fabrice, we also had 2 questions via the chat. Aurora asks, with action flow, could we use meetings or sending emails?
We can create tasks that are placed within I think the agenda. I have to check that to be sure. But generating meetings, so sending meetings invitation, by default, no, because sending a meeting invitation is in fact an action that should be done by the user by clicking on an option saying, okay, then I will create a new Outlook meeting request, and then the Outlook meeting request will appear within Outlook. So in that case, the automation of the generation of an Outlook meeting request, I don't think so. What we can do is create the different actions by default via the action flow, and in order to send automatic a meeting request, then it's a small development that we have to do in order to do that automatically on top of the action flow.
Okay, so Aurora, I hope this will answer your question.
Yes, it's a good question, and the best way to answer that is to went back to your sales rep, and we could analyze on the project side how many times should be needed in order to automate the sending on a meeting request on Outlook meeting request based on the action flow.
Okay. Patrice also had a question on which version of Efficy is it available? They are on Efficy 11.2.
Okay, so let's check. When you have those kind of questions, don't hesitate to jump to this URL, edn.efficy.com. Within the EDN, you have a lot of stuff and references to what we are delivering in terms of service for administrators, but also for developers, etc. And so if you go within the project team guides and you jump into the different add-ons, you will find information regarding action flow and the automated negotiation with merge PDF. So here is the details of how to do it, what could be done, and how to set up it. Normally, they will have defined the version, but if it's not defined here, then I will just, no, it's not defined. So 11.2, I really think it's available because we have to set up a small part on top of the actual version. But let's say that I will just ask the question to the team which was creating this new module to be sure. But 11.2, I think it's compatible.
Right. Okay.
I have to check, but I think.
All right. We'll let you know, Patrice. Once we know it,
Yeah.
we'll send you an email about it.
Yeah, of course.
So if there are not any more questions, I don't see anything in the chat. I don't see risen hands. So let's finish it up, and then we are within 30 minutes. It's really nice. Yes, as Fabrice already mentioned, we have normally we would have a physical CRM days, but due to the current situation, it's of course not possible. So we have been thinking about, okay, what are we gonna do? Well, we had to do something because we have new releases, but we're not gonna bore you with a half day or a full day of kinds of online stuff, because we all know everybody is sitting behind the screen all day. So we keep it very quick and dirty. We do it with 3 simple keynotes. One is about what's going on at Efficy, about the takeovers we have done recently, and about how things are going. Then, of course, we have a presentation about the new releases. It's also a quick keynote about what's new in the newest releases, in the latest release of Efficy. And we have, of course, a look into the future with Robert Houdard, our CTO, on the roadmap. So where are we going to? Where is your CRM solution going to into the future with a unified solution, and probably a nice new look and feel, but we cannot spoil the moment. So that's just well, within 2 hours you will be up to date on everything on Efficy and your CRM solution. So we keep it quick and dirty on the 12th of November, and for Dutch speaking it will be at 9:30 in the morning at live show, and for French speaking it will be in the afternoon at 2. So we'll get all the information shortly about that, and just register through our website, or through me personally, or your account manager, and we'll make sure you get a link for that day.
Yes, of course. And it's quite an important release. We have a lot of stuff to show, great stuff really to present. Yeah, a lot of new functionalities, fun functionalities.
I see you have to do your best to not spoil everything.
Yeah,
that's good. That's good, because it's going to be an exciting event. That's for sure. So for now, Fabrice, thank you very much again for your clear presentation and answering all the questions.
My pleasure.
It's always a pleasure doing that with you, and all the attendees. Thank you very much for attending, and we hope to see you next month on the 12th. And for now, have a great day.
See you. Bye bye. See you. Take care.